Hi everyone, today we're talking about WheeshtE. I'm here with Linda Jennings from Color Storm Yarns. I'm Valerie and we are starting a new chapter today. So this is our online book club and we talk about a chapter for about 10 minutes, and today we're talking about stay put. So the chapter is about your sense of place, and both Linda and I just got back from trips. So it's very interesting that this is our first conversation after our trips in June, and we're both at home again. So how was your June?
Yeah, I went on a trip the last week in June and the first week in July, and I feel like part of the goal of a trip, especially like the one I was on, this concept of staying put no matter where you are, it's sort of for me because we spent a lot of time with his family and different friends that he knew. We went to a steam up in Nevada. Can you imagine being in the same 12 working locomotives, steam locomotives, all steamed up, all working at the same time? Two of them going around in a circle carrying passengers, and the other 12, the other 10 on the turntable being talked about one at a time. They're all chuffing and puffing, tooting once in a while, releasing steam pressure from the engine.
Mm.
It was like the Grand Canyon of machines. Um, but whenever you're on a vacation, you've got to be true to yourself. And in some ways, I brought my knitting wherever I went because for me, bringing my knitting is the way to stay put. It's the
Mm-hmm.
way, it's all about, for me, staying true to myself. And yes, I had to kind of follow my husband's plans each day because he kind of set up this whole thing, and half of it was related to his family. So there was a lot
Mm-hmm.
of me just kind of following him and helping him do whatever needed to be done. But if I had my knitting, then I could stay true to myself. Do you get, do you find that helpful too on your trips?
100%. Like for me, when I travel, I get anxiety. Not that I'm going to be on the airplane, but I have anxiety about getting to the gate on time, making sure that I can navigate security, like parking the car, all of the little steps that you have to take to get to the airport on time with your things. It stresses me out. And it always has. This isn't a new situation. So for me, when I have my knitting, that is a way, like you, that I can just come back to myself. It's a tactile activity, so it keeps my body engaged, and it's enough movement to calm my anxiety, but I can listen with my ears to hear if I need an announcement or if I have to go do something different. Like it calms me down. It's like catnip. And I can just like hang out at that point. If I have my knitting, I'm cool.
Yeah, no matter where you go, it's a universal language.
Yeah.
At one point, I was at a big family 4th of July party that was unrelated to either one of our families. We were listening to my husband's sister sing and play the guitar at one of her gigs, and she invited us to this party. So I'm there with 100 people that I don't know, but I have my knitting. So whatever, anything can happen while I'm sitting there knitting. Sometimes people would come up and ask me what I was doing, and sometimes people would just admire it. And no matter what, it can spark a conversation. I guess, pets are good that way too, or babies. But knitting is ultimately portable wherever you go. And gosh, I just really, really appreciate it.
It's totally true. I completely agree.
What did you like about the chapter?
So there was something that stood out, and I want to get the exact page and quote because even you talked about it already. And I think it's on page 63, the first page of the chapter. Kate Davies, the author, talks about I'm going to read the sentence. Or is the space in which you sit defined by sound? A radio in the next room, the whir of the washing machine downstairs, the hum of traffic in the street beyond, the chatter of your colleagues or your children, birdsong, distant voices, all the ordinary sonic textures of your workplace or your household. That phrase, sonic textures, jumped off of the page at me. And the way that you described the steam engines chuffing and whirring and whistling and all of the, it's like I can feel that bass in my chest cavity when I think about it. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that is a beautiful phrase. I had not heard that before either. And it's a great way to think about your life. And because each day, I guess, sometimes we have a choice in what our sonic texture is, and other times we do not. So the wonderful, unusual, exciting yet peaceful sonic texture at the steam up was our choice, and we loved it. There was also music going on in the background. And then a lot of times, though, you don't have a choice. There was a special dinner that we went to where the band we had been listening to all day came and played at the dinner. But guess where we were sat? Just where we sat, or we were seated, or we were placed right in front of them. We
Yeah.
were practically touching
Yeah.
the instrument. I had to move I moved where I was sitting because when he was stomping his foot,
Yeah.
it was like right in my ear. So I wasn't really happy about that. But then
Yeah.
my husband's sister, sat next to me. This was a band that she had gone to see. She was
Wow.
so excited to be that close to them. And she just sat there in awe through the whole
Wow.
hour they played. And so I kind of tried to take a note from her and like, wow, I'm going to enjoy this through her eyes. Does not worry that none of us can talk to each other right now. Just enjoy this little concert. You know, so that was not a choice I had to make, but through a choice I made, I decided to not fight it, to just let it be what it had to be and find a way to be at peace with it. So that worked that day, but then fast forward a week from then, our last night at the hotel,
Yeah.
we were on the 5th floor, but on the 6th floor, there was an all-night party.
Oh no.
It felt like somebody was jumping up and down from the bed to the floor, from 5 p.m. until 3 a.m.
Wow.
I never did successfully navigate through that sonic texture. I just didn't sleep. And sometimes, right, we just don't have a choice and we can't do anything with it except be miserable. It's just the reality of life sometimes.
That's really hard.
Well, life is not all good. It's just not meant to be.
I mean, there's so many, what's the word I'm trying to find? Just like overly simplistic platitudes about suffering.
This vacation was one that really helped me appreciate how good I have it at home.
Mm,
Really helped me appreciate all my family members. So I'm just glad that most of the time I do get to choose my environment. I'm very grateful for that.
that's true. Yeah. And like in that way, traveling can help us with to appreciate our sense of place. Like on the one hand, traveling is inspiring and new sights and new sounds and new people, but sometimes that can be overwhelming for me. And coming home is just so comforting. It feels like that exhale. Getting home is it's just delicious.
That's a nice word for it. That's right. That's right. That's good.
So,
I'm looking forward to reading more about this
yeah,
and
very exciting.
doing her creative assignments.
Hmm.
I like how she is just it, helping me to pay attention to where I am and what it is I need to make me thrive. You got to find your happy place wherever you are. What is your place about? How might that be expressed? Enjoy being in your place.
Hmm.
Explore it and be proud of it and its details. Its specifics are unique to you. So especially, it's something I think every human being has to find is that sense of acceptance of yourself, how to be comfortable in your own space and to um, accept it, help other people to accept it through grace and understanding, because that's what family is. It's like a collusion of everybody's personal space overlapping, and oh my gosh, that's just messy.
Yeah, it depends on the day, right?
Right. Yeah. So, um, I think it's great to, I guess, appreciate what's special about your special space, and then maybe, learn about somebody else's too, and how the two things either intersect or do not. Like maybe that's why some people need more personal space, is because they just feel like their space is never going to intersect. You know, that's kind of an interesting discovery too, is how to be with somebody else and still feel alone, in a comfortable way. That's something I'm still learning too, because I feel like in order to be alone, I have to be nothing else in my room. But on vacation, you're often thrown with other people more. On an airplane, you're like right next to somebody you've never met before, and you sort of
Hmm.
creating this personal space around yourself. At family parties, you're hanging out with a lot of other people, and if you can find that place where their comfortable space can intersect with your comfortable space, then you can really dwell with other people and still feel alone or just not claustrophobic.
It's true. I can't wait to think about that and talk about it more.
Okay, yeah. So, to the extent that you are able, please continue in your creative endeavors and find how those creative thoughts can help improve your life, and enjoy this chapter, Staying Put. Bye bye, everyone.